Hey everyone, this is Jane with Barlow Herbal, and I have a wonderful message for you today about not only getting through these chaotic times, but letting them empower us. Because what I believe is happening is a crumble of the systems that have needed to crumble, but also it's an opportunity to look at this as a mirror. This is a mirror of the problems that have been going on, not just in society and all the systems, but within ourselves individually. So we get to look at this as a mirror of all the things that we've needed to change for a long time, whether that is, all of the systems, which all of us know starts right here with each of us individually. This is where it starts and this is where it stops, right? This is where we get to change. So what I've done is I've written a couple of really good lists. So here is a list of things to consider. The first thing is to consider the awareness of our flaws. So think about the things that are broken. Maybe turn inward first. What feels a little broken inside of you? Where are you being less loving, less empowering? Where are you being judgmental? Where are you being a victim? Where are you blaming your life on other people? So you have to first see the flaws and have an awareness of them to be able to change them. Now, the second thing is we need to have a purposeful existence. Okay, so think about what that means. We need to have purpose. You look at all these groups of people in the blue zones where they live a long, long, long time, and the number one factor that helps these people live to very old ages with health and longevity is their purpose. They have a sense of purpose. And I think that is what's missing in a lot of us, because either our lives have gotten too soft, too easy, we don't know how to work hard, we don't, we see the world differently and we become a victim. We don't realize, I think, how good we have it as modern humans. And I'm not saying everybody has the most perfect life. One of the things that I actually thought about talking about this week was the idea of hard work. And I know that this was something that was instilled really, really hardcore in me and my siblings. All of us are hard workers. The oldest group, definitely, our work ethic is pretty serious, because when you're the oldest or in the oldest group of kids of such a large family, you don't have a chance or a choice to be lazy. And there's something really beautiful about being able to work really hard. In fact, what made me think about that is just this past week, we did, every Black Friday, we do buy one, get one free for our Glowing Vitality Skin Serum. And many of you know that. And thank you so much for everybody who jumped on and bought that. But the reason we're able to do that is because we make all of those serums by hand. So there was a moment right before, Black Friday. We were ready to go into the office on Monday, and it was on the weekend. It was right after Thanksgiving. So on the weekend, we didn't come back into the office till Monday, and I had a big box of Glowing Vitality that still needed labels on it. And we do have this label machine. It's just a little individual label machine, but I couldn't get it to work. And it was the weekend, so I had a box of about 250 bottles to label by hand. And so I started labeling them. And as I was going, I sometimes like to have my thoughts, just my thoughts. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast. Sometimes I'll listen to music. But on this particular day, last weekend, it was just last weekend, it seems like so much has happened in the past week. But on this particular day, I was just there with my thoughts. And as I was thinking about all of the things that I needed to do to prepare for the upcoming week, because it makes a really busy week for us, which we're so grateful, but it can be a lot. And so I'm labeling, and my back starts to hurt after a while. My feet hurt. I sit down, I stand up, and I start to kind of think in my mind, just for a split second, I think, this is, why am I doing this? I'm like too old to do this. That, not even the too old part, but it's like, it was a split second of a tiny bit of victimhood, which sounds ridiculous, but I'm being really, really authentic and very honest with you here. But let me tell you what happened. After that one split second of me feeling bad for myself, I thought, oh my gosh, like I was putting this label on. And if you've seen our Glowing Vitality labels, this is one of my skin formulations. I formulated this probably 15 years ago now at this point. And the labels, it's under the Jane Health brand. So there's my name on these beautiful bottles of this luscious, luscious skin serum that I use every single day. And I was thinking how grateful I am that I have an opportunity to bring this incredible, handmade, made with love. Literally, on a lot of those bottles, there was a little piece of me as I was putting the labels on. I just thought, oh my gosh, my dad would be so proud if he could, you know, and I know he sees it. I know that we're all connected, our souls, our consciousness. This is not it. And so I had this moment of intense gratitude, and I was grateful that my feet ached a little bit. I was grateful that my back will be ready when this job was done. But I was super grateful for the opportunity to bring something beautiful to the world and the work ethic to do it. So, you know, I almost made my whole video today about hard work. And to me, this is such an important thing, because the value and the purpose that we get to bring to the world when we each follow our own passion and what we love is really, really amazing. So purposeful existence is what I wrote here on number 2. Number 3 is we need to remember that we have free will. So when we walk through this world with the chaos that's happening, we feel helpless because we feel like we can't change anything, but that's not true. We have free will to not only look at a situation, but then we get to decide how we perceive it. That can completely change everything. Like my little example of labeling, you know, 200 or 300 bottles. You know, I had a split second where I started to get a teeny bit cranky, and it was so split second that I was grateful that I'm able to swap my perception so quickly, because the things that change and the things that shift are amazing. So we have free will to choose. And I do believe we chose to come down here during this time, because every single soul and consciousness that is here for a reason. Okay? Now, the last thing on this short list, because I have 2 short lists, the last one on this I kind of covered already, is that your perception matters. And here's what I wrote. It is not just our situation, it's about how we perceive it. Our perception shapes our actions and our reactions. Okay, so we can have an action that we do, whatever our perception is. Like, think about what happened since the beginning of 2020. Think about people's actions, and then think about other people's reactions to other people's actions, or even the actions of whatever was happening in the media and with the government and all of these things. We got to choose. We still get to choose how we react and what actions we're going to take. So we need to remember that your perception matters. How you perceive things. You know, if you're a person who believes that we are of a higher consciousness and that we are powerful beyond our even knowing, then that is going to guide you through life differently than someone who believes that they are a victim of their circumstances and they don't have any control. You're going to be, your perception of this life and your part in it is going to completely change the way you walk through it and the way you react to different situations. Now, I will tell you, I am less than proud of myself for some of the reactions that I had during 2020 and 2021. I am less than proud of myself. But here's the thing. I also recognize that I had a lot of growth, and I have forgiveness for myself, and I have love for myself for my ability to see that my reaction based on my perception of things was not the most stellar. So we get to have self-love and self-forgiveness. Along this journey of growth, we're here growing. So your perception matters. If you see a situation that triggers you, you hear about something, or you're in a conversation with someone, take a minute before you respond, before you react. Take a minute. Take a breath. It's much, much easier. It's like writing out that email to somebody who's made you angry, and you write out this email. Don't hit the send button until you sleep on it, or give it an hour. Really pay attention to your responses and your perceptions of things. I think that one is really, really powerful. So after that, I wrote this. Let's not limit ourselves in our ability to bring light and protection into our lives during chaotic times. Think of it this way. If you go out into a rainstorm without a raincoat, you are going to get wet. Okay? So there's an unlimited potential with our minds, our hearts, and our souls. We have the power to give ourselves a layer of protection. Think about when we get on an airplane to go on a trip. I know many people do this, or they go on a road trip. They say a prayer and ask for a safe trip. You might have someone say, your grandma say to you, I hope you have a safe trip. We say that to each other, and believe it or not, prayer and an ask of protection is, you have to ask. You have to put it out. You can't just assume that you're always going to get what you want. But you'd be surprised at the sheer amount of energy and protection and beauty that is just waiting for you to ask for it. I grew up with prayer as a constant. We would pray in the morning. We would actually kneel on our knees in a family circle. We would all fold our arms, bow our heads, and then we would take turns, not in the same prayer circle, but we would take turns at different prayer times giving the prayer. We would pray over every single meal we had. We would ask for it to nourish us. And we would be thankful. We would thank the person who prepared it. So I believe when we ask for protection, this is what we get. So we need to remember this. There is no limit to how much we can grow spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. There's no limit. We limit ourselves, but there's no limit. No limit. We embark on this journey of growth to make our lives better in the here and now. Okay, so we're here to not wait until we die to make our life better once we get to heaven, right? And that might make someone feel angry at me for saying that. We are here to learn these lessons and to make ourselves the amazing potential, huge, beautiful human souls, consciousness, spirit, everything that we can be, so that our lives will be better while we're here, while we're experiencing this beautiful journey, right? This is why. Why wouldn't we want life to work in a way that empowers us? So that's a question I sat down and asked that, and I was like, why wouldn't we want this life to be a life that empowers us? While there are external factors beyond our control, such as things like wars, natural disasters, there are things that we can't control. But you know what we can control? Ourselves. We can control ourselves and our actions and our reactions. We can control all of that. We have a vital role to play. I really believe that, and that's what I wrote. Our part is to open up our infinite minds. Our part is to open up these beautiful minds, because that's why we're going through all of these changes. I believe that we are being told to wake up. Wake up. Someone's not shaking us. I feel like we are being slapped in the face and told to wake up, because we have everything that we need to make this life the way we want it to be. And every single one of us, is because you might think I'm only one person, and you might feel completely helpless about what's going on with, like I said, the wars and the natural disasters and things that happen that are horrible, and all the suffering that is horrible. You might feel completely hopeless and helpless, but you don't realize the potential and the power that you have to change the frequency of the energy in your sphere. And as it ripples out into your home, your workspace, your family, your neighborhood. One of the things I love to do when I go on a walk in my neighborhood, I love to just intentionally push out pure love and pure conscious creative energy. And it changes the way I walk, it changes the way I feel, it changes the way, like I look up and look at the clouds and I look at the sky and I pay attention to people that I'm walking past, and there is something really beautiful happening. And I think all of us need to grab a hold of this train and ride it. Okay, so it all starts inside. We need to love ourselves, forgive ourselves, and liberate ourselves. Throw away those chains of victimhood. Liberate yourself. Be smart, be wise, be creative and open-minded, be virtuous and inspired, and stay true to your core values. Stay true to what you know is true and right, and stay true. Be willing to say no. When something isn't right, stand up and say, no, I'm not doing that. You don't have to say it angrily. You could even just simply say, no, I'm not doing that, and go somewhere else. You don't have to play along to something you don't believe in just because everybody else is doing it. Be willing to stand up and say no. So here's some action items I wrote down. This is a very short list of 6. The first one is self-reflection. Sit with that journal, because I know at this point, after me hammering it home every single day, every single week, I know you've got one going, but have some self-reflection. Because you might be listening to me and saying, no, that's not me, and it's this person's fault, and it's this guy's fault, and it's the government's fault, and I don't have any control over my workspace, and it's my boss's fault, and it's my coworker's fault, and I don't know, my husband's a stubborn guy, he's never going to change, and my wife, I don't know. So the thing is, you need to sit down and have some self-reflection. What is it that you need to self-reflect on with all of these things that I'm talking about? Really be honest with yourself. This is not something you're going to go back and look at and read, or pass down to your kids. Maybe you will. But to me, this is a place for you to self-reflect and get thoughts out that might just be rolling around in your head. This is a really good place to do that. Now, the second thing is to educate yourself. If there's things that make you angry or triggered, find out, educate yourself. Really take a look at these things. In fact, what I wrote under this is learn about the flaws in our systems, like the educational and medical system, and understand the issues that are essential for advocating change. Because the next one on this list is advocacy. So you have to be willing to use your voice and influence. And it doesn't have to be like anyone else is doing it. It doesn't have to be, running for a local office, or it can be in whatever the spirit guides you to do. Advocacy can be such a simple, beautiful thing. And it can even just be setting like a really good example with non-judgment. Don't judge others. Set the most pure, beautiful example. And that right there. Now, if you want to get out and go run for governor of your state, do that. If you're being pulled to do that, that is advocacy on an amazing level, especially if you know you're staying true to your core values and the things that make us human. And we need good, strong leaders right now. We need people, and I believe I've seen so many people stepping up. I am so full of the utmost hope and joy, and the world is going in such a beautiful place. I really hope that you are riding this wave along with me, because I'm telling you, this is the most exciting time to be alive ever. Okay, now the fourth thing is, and I wrote this, it kind of goes along with advocacy, but community engagement. So you have to engage. You have to engage. In fact, this is what I wrote. Connect with other like-minded people who share your passion for change. Because this is how I think that this is how we change the world. And this is how we stay in a place of hope and love, right? The fifth thing here is positive perspective. This is an action item. We must have a positive perspective. If you find yourself getting caught in that negative trap, let's think about your perspective again. Because I'm telling you, your perspective can completely change everything about the way you walk through this world. If you find yourself being angry, being judgmental, being triggered by something, being in any type of slight victim mode, not only change your perspective, but change your attitude of gratitude. Think about, okay, why don't I be thankful for what I do have? You know, it's like me putting those labels on the bottle. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I am putting this amazing formulation that I created onto these bottles, and that people are loving this and using this. Like, I was absolutely overwhelmed with gratitude when I changed my perception, when I changed my perspective. So your perspective and your perception matters. It matters in every moment. And you can change on a dime. You know, be willing to say, if you get triggered off at somebody and you all of a sudden change your perspective, say, hey, I'm sorry. I had a moment, and be willing to say you're sorry, and then forgive yourself, because this is part of it. And then the last thing that I wrote on here is to harness your unlimited potential. Harness that. Like, harness the power and the potential you have. Here's what I wrote with this. Embrace the unlimited potential within you. Focus on your personal growth to enrich your life and the lives of those around you. You know, I think that's probably a perfect place to leave it. I think that as we go into the last month of 2023, which is where we are right now, we're at the very beginning of December, I sometimes get chills when I think about how beautiful life is, and to even like sit in that dot for a minute where we are right now, and just to realize what is coming, the beauty that is coming. And here's the thing, we need to each realize that we are an integral, important piece of it. Every single human consciousness that is here, that sees it, is an important piece of it. Don't get discouraged of those who don't see it. You know, don't let that discourage you. Walk around with your light shining, and it will flood and flow off on everyone you come in contact with. Stand up tall. Walk into a grocery store with a smile on your face. You know, let people wonder what is going on with her or him. What is happening? Why is that person so happy? Did they just win the lottery? I mean, seriously, let your light shine. And, you know, we're getting through these times so beautifully. And I hope you can see that too. So I hope that your day is amazing. I hope your week ahead is absolutely brilliant. There's some exciting things coming this year that I can't wait to share with you. They're kind of in the birthing phase, but I'm a person who just simply can't sit still. I am always thinking, what can I create? What can I make? What can I do? What can I bring? What can I, like, when you start living in this type of rhythm, I'm telling you, the Creator will give you your purpose, and it will help you. You'll be able to shine it out. Anyway, I could go on. It's a beautiful day, guys. I hope that your day is amazing. I'd love to hear what you think about this. You know, let me know in the comments. What do you think? Do you think I'm crazy? Maybe. But this is the only way to walk through this world, because I know that we are infinite, powerful beings full of love and light and pure, beautiful consciousness. And I'm happy to be here on this journey. So have a beautiful day, guys, and an amazing week ahead, and we'll see you next time.